What's up, Legends? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Modern Warfare Zombies, and I want to discuss the recent nerf to the triangles in Tier 3, alongside the addition of the new 3 triangles they added in the Tier 2 zone. Now, I'm not going to be covering the locations of each of these triangles, because honestly, I think these have become nothing but a waste of time, thanks to the change they decided to implement in Season 5 Reloaded. Now, up to this point, you've been able to go to the triangles in Tier 3, activate them by shooting the symbols on the wall, then going over to the triangle itself, lining it up, starting the soul box event, and then you would just eliminate the zombies within the area. These, of course, the first 3 initially were all available in the high threat zone, so you did have a little bit of a threat level because the zombies are significantly more challenging in that zone. You would just complete eliminating zombies until you filled up the soul box, granting you a reward rift, giving you 2,000 essence, a legendary tool, and a pack 3 crystal, and these were guaranteed each and every round. So at least 3 of these would be available in the high threat zone off the rip. A lot of the time, everybody would hustle over there, and you would have to race the people with the Scorchers, unless you had a decent lobby where maybe nobody was headed to the high threat zone. Basically, it became a little bit of a competition to make it over to these triangles, but nonetheless, it was still a guarantee to give you a legendary tool and a pack 3 crystal. Now, it's important to note, there is absolutely nothing on the regular map of Urzikstan that can give you these guaranteed, or even have a high chance to drop these. Even if you complete Tier 3 contracts for a week straight, it is always possible you'll never see a legendary tool or a pack 3 crystal, which is why I think it's a huge miss and probably one of the biggest mistakes they've made in Modern Warfare Zombies by nerfing these the way that they have. Now when you head over to the high threat zone and you complete one of these triangles that has been available for a few seasons, instead of getting a guaranteed legendary tool and pack 3 crystal, it has now become a bit more random. So when I went over to the high threat zone for the first time and I completed a triangle in Season 5 Reloaded, I got a pack 1 crystal and a rare tool, which is a gigantic slap in the face for somebody who's heading over to the high threat zone to complete anything, I think, in the high threat zone. Pack 1 crystal and a rare tool is very rarely super useful for somebody, especially somebody that's already using enough juice to be able to make it to the high threat zone throughout their journey. Now, I do think it is cool that they added the 3 new locations all in Tier 3. A couple of them are up to the left in the apartments, one's up in the tunnel, and then the last one is over near Tier 3 where that big bridge is in Tier 2. Essentially, it's just underneath in the water. The locations aren't really relevant, but essentially they did add 3 new locations for these triangles, making 6 locations on the map. Now, hear me out. I am definitely for them adding new triangle locations, and I think the rewards that they have nerfed all the rest of the triangles to have, essentially, should be the reward pool for the Tier 2 triangles. It's great that they added them. I think it's a good option. It's nice to have something else that can earn you essence and a possibility at an upgraded tool and a Pack-a-Punch crystal, but I think it's a huge slap in the face to go over to the high threat zone, hit something that used to be guaranteed to give you an item. It was easily the most rare in the game, 72-hour cooldown period for the pack 3 crystal, and again, a 48-hour cooldown on a legendary tool. I think it's kind of a miss to not even at least make it a possibility of a purple or legendary and between a pack 2 or pack 3 crystal. The fact that you can get a pack 1 crystal and a rare tool in the high threat zone completing one of these triangle rituals is extremely insane, and I think they missed their point to nerf this appropriately. If they'd have come out and made it this way from the rip, people wouldn't have any reason to be upset, and I think at this point, the reason to be upset is the fact that they've removed an ability to be able to get some of the best items in the game, and they made it all RNG. In some cases, I kind of feel like maybe this was their way of nerfing the high threat zone to make it a little less populated, assuming if people have a less likely chance of getting a legendary tool and a pack 3 crystal each and every game, the less people will be making their way into the high threat zone, overall leaving it a little bit more open to the people that should be there. Now, I do also want to mention that it isn't completely nerfed into the ground. There is still the possibility of a legendary tool and a pack 3 crystal, but I think the odds of those actually coming up are going to be pretty rare. You could actually hit all 6 of the locations in a single match and get absolutely nothing, and I think that's just overall a big miss for the community. I don't think the solution to nerfing these triangles was to change the loot pool, but more importantly, to change the ability for people to maybe only do 1 per match, or maybe once you complete one, it can cool down after a set amount of time for another group to come and complete it, and maybe it even blocks you out from being able to do the exact same one a second time to avoid people spamming them. So now with Season 5 Reloaded, they nerfed them into the ground essentially. You have a chance at legendary tools and pack 3 crystals, but they're no longer guaranteed. It's great. They added 3 more locations on the map that you can go and activate these triangles. At least the other triangles will be great if you're doing camo grinds, because one specifically spawns a Disciple, the other spawns Manglers, and another one Mimics, making those elite or special kills a lot easier to acquire. But essentially now you have 6 different locations to go to these triangles, and more than likely completing them is going to be a waste of time, as you are going to get something that you won't even be able to use in a future match. In my opinion, this is one of the worst changes they could have ever made, because ahead of Season 5 Reloaded, you could rock a pack 3 crystal legendary tool, make your way to the high threat zone, and redeem the exact same items you used going into that run, making it available for your next run, and even being able to refill your stash if you go through a majority of your items. I think it was really nice to have a pretty much guaranteed way to get these, even if you weren't able to get them each and every match. It was just nice to have something reliable where you would be able to see some of these high-end items that are extremely rare from completing any of the other contracts. But that is going to wrap things up for today's video. I really just wanted to talk about the nerf to the triangles, how big of a miss it was, and just overall inform people that, hey, if you're going to go over to these triangles, expect to be disappointed and expect them to not give you a flawless crystal and a legendary tool like previous to Season 5 Reloaded. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all support in the channel, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace!